passion is the universe whispering your purpose. Are you listening? That fire inside you, the thing that lights you up, it's not an accident. It's your guide you're calling. But are you tuned in, or is the noise of the world drowning it out? When was the last time you truly listened to yourself? Not the chatter of your doubts, but that deep voice that speaks when you're lost in something you love. The one that says, this feels right. So often we push that voice aside. It's not practical, we think. Or worse, what will people say? But that voice is the universe speaking through you, pointing you towards something extraordinary. Are you going to ignore it? Your deepest joys aren't random. They're intentional. They're clues to the life you're meant to live. Yet fear and doubt creep in, whispering, who do you think you are to dream like this? But here's the truth. Who are you not to that spark inside you isn't just for fun. It's your soul pointing to your purpose. Imagine being on a dark road, unsure of the way. Suddenly a light appears in the distance, not a blazing beacon, just a faint glow. That light is your passion. It's not meant to show you the whole path, just the next step. You don't need the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to trust the light inside you. Think of the things that make you lose track of time, the hobbies, the moments of joy. Those are clues. Are you following them, or are you waiting for everything to make perfect sense before you move forward? Let me share a story. There was a young woman who loved to dance. She never thought it could be her career. Life happened, school, a real job, responsibilities. But years later, she found herself in a dance class just for fun. As the music started, something shifted. Tears filled her eyes. She realized she'd been ignoring her true self. Today, she's a dance therapist helping others heal through movement. She didn't start knowing this was her purpose. She simply followed the whispers of her passion, one step at a time. What are you ignoring in yourself? What lights you up but feels too late or impossible? Picture yourself as a child. What made you happiest then? That joy was pure. It didn't worry about practicality or judgment. How far have you drifted from it? Your passions aren't random, they're your purpose in disguise. And the world needs what you have to offer. Yes, you. Passion isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet nudge, a steady pull, but it's always there waiting for you to notice. And if you're afraid of failing, flip that question, what if you succeed? What if ignoring your passion is the real failure? Take one small step today, sign up for the class, open the notebook, pick up the paintbrush, say yes to your joy. Because every big, beautiful life starts with a moment of saying yes. Listen to the whispers of the universe. They've been guiding you all along. What lights you up inside is what the world needs most from you. Pause and let that sink in. That thing, the one that makes your heart race, your soul feel alive, it's not random, it's not trivial, it's not a nice to have. It's essential and not just for you. It's a gift you were given to share with the world. Now, let me ask you, have you ever stopped to think about why that spark exists in you? Why, out of the billions of people on this planet, you are drawn to that one thing? It's not by accident. It's the universe handing you a clue saying this is where you're needed. But let's be honest, how often do we ignore that spark? How often do we tell ourselves it's just a hobby, or I could never make a living doing that too often? We bury it under the weight of practicality, expectations, and fear. But let me tell you something, burying your spark doesn't extinguish it. It only smolders, waiting for you to uncover it again. Here's the truth, your spark isn't just for you, it's your compass pointing you toward where you're meant to serve. And service, my friends, is where fulfillment lives. Picture this. You're in a room and it's completely dark. You can't see the walls, the doors, or even your own hands. But then someone lights a match. Instantly, the room changes. The light shifts everything. It doesn't erase the darkness entirely, but it gives you direction. That light, it's your passion. And when you let it shine, it's not just you who benefits, it's everyone around you. The world needs your light, desperately. Because here's the thing, no one else can bring it in the same way you can. Sure, there might be other people who paint, write, teach, or invent, but they don't have your voice, your perspective, your story. Your unique spark is your fingerprint on the world. It's the one thing no one else can replicate. Let me share a story. There was a man who loved photography. It wasn't his job, just something he did on weekends. He would wander through parks, capturing moments of light filtering through the trees. It made him happy, but he never thought much of it. One day he shared one of his photos online. A woman commented saying, "This image stopped me in my tracks. I've been struggling, and this reminded me that beauty still exists in the world." That man wasn't trying to change someone's life. He was just following what lit him up. But in doing so, he became a light for someone else. Now, imagine if he had kept those photos to himself. Imagine if he'd said, "It's just a hobby. It doesn't matter how often do we do that. How often do we downplay the very thing that makes us come alive?" And in doing so, how many lives do we miss the chance to touch? Here's a powerful thought. Your passion isn't selfish, it's sacred. It's a calling to step into your unique place in the world. And when you align with that calling, magic happens. Doors open. Opportunities appear. The right people find their way to you. But it all starts with you saying yes. Think about the people who inspire you. The artists, the leaders, the innovators, what do they all have in common? They followed their spark. They leaned into what lit them up, even when it didn't make sense, even when the world told them to be realistic. And here's the kicker: they didn't start with a clear map. They started with a feeling, a pull, a quiet whisper that said, "Go this way." Do you feel that pull? Maybe it's faint. Maybe it's been drowned out by the noise of life, but it's still there. Take a moment right now to listen. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what lights me up? What makes me feel most alive? Let me challenge you. What would happen if you stopped seeing your passion as optional? What if instead you saw it as your responsibility? Because that's what it is, a responsibility to bring your unique gift into the world. Not just for your sake, but for the people who are waiting for it. Yes, waiting, because there are people out there right now who need what only you can give. They might not even know it yet, but your light is the one they've been searching for. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is the great silencer of passion. It says you're not good enough. It says, what if you fail? But here's the thing about fear, it's a liar. It shows up not because you're on the wrong path, but because you're stepping into something that matters. Fear is a signpost. It's proof that you're moving toward your purpose. So the next time fear whispers, "You can't do this," I want you to respond with, "Watch me." Let's do an exercise together. Imagine your passion as a tiny flame in your hands. Feel its warmth. See its glow. Now, picture what happens when you nurture it. When you shield it from the wind of doubt, when you feed it with time and attention. It grows, doesn't it? It becomes a fire, strong, steady, unstoppable. Now, imagine what happens when you share that fire. It spreads. It lights up the world around you. That's what your passion is meant to do. Think about this. The world is full of people waiting for permission to shine. When you step into your light, you give them that permission. You become an example, a reminder that it's okay to follow what lights you up. And here's the beautiful part. When you align with your passion, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like flow, like ease, like coming home to yourself. So what's stopping you? Is it the belief that you're not ready? Let me tell you something, you don't have to be ready. You just have to begin. Take one small step. Share your work. Write the first page. Start the conversation. Whatever it is, do it now, because the world isn't waiting for perfection, it's waiting for you. And as you take that step, remember this: what lights you up is what the world needs most. Your spark isn't just for you, it's a gift to share, a career waiting to unfold. Don't chase a paycheck, follow the pull of your heart. Let that sink in for a moment. We live in a world that shouts at us to run after money, to hustle, to grind, but let me ask you this: at what cost? What good is the paycheck if it leaves your soul empty? What good is the grind if it wears down the very essence of who you are? Here's a truth that might surprise you: abundance doesn't come from chasing. It flows when you align with what you love. Read that again: not chasing, not forcing, but aligning. When you're in tune with your passion, when you're doing the thing that makes your heart beat a little faster, that's when life opens up. That's when opportunities find you. That's when abundance shows up naturally, almost effortlessly. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone who's so deeply in love with what they do that it feels like magic? Maybe it's a musician lost in their song or a chef creating a dish with the precision of an artist. They're not thinking about the paycheck. They're lost in the flow, in the love of the moment. And what happens? The world notices. People are drawn to them, to their energy, to their passion. That's the power of alignment. And it's available to you too. Now let's talk about what happens when you chase the paycheck. You might earn a lot of money, but at what cost? The sleepless nights, the constant pressure, the feeling that no matter how much you have, it's never enough. Sound familiar? That's because chasing is rooted in scarcity. It's rooted in fear, the fear of not having enough, not being enough. But here's the thing, when you shift your focus from earning to aligning, everything changes. You move from scarcity to abundance, from fear to trust, from survival to joy. Think about it this way. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a river, desperately trying to scoop water into a bucket. You're frantic, chasing the current, splashing everywhere, but no matter what you do, the bucket never quite fills. That's what it feels like to chase a paycheck. But now imagine stepping into the river, letting the water flow around you, through you, effortlessly filling the bucket. That's alignment. That's what happens when you follow the pull of your heart. Here's a story I want you to hear. There was a man who loved to write. As a child, he would spend hours crafting stories, dreaming up worlds, and losing himself in the magic of words. But as he got older, life got in the way. People told him, writing isn't practical, you need a real job, and so he chased the paycheck. He became an accountant, not because he loved numbers, but because it was safe. Years passed, and while he was financially secure, something inside him felt empty. One day, he stumbled across an old notebook filled with his childhood stories. And something inside him clicked. He decided to start writing again, not for the money, not for the approval, but because it made him feel alive. Today, that man is a best-selling author. He didn't find success because he chased it. He found it because he followed his heart. What's the thing you've been putting off? The thing that lights you up but feels impractical or too risky? Here's something you need to understand. Your passion isn't a random hobby. It's the universe speaking through you. It's your purpose calling. And when you ignore it, you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting the world miss out on what only you can offer. But let's get real for a second. I know what you're thinking. That's great in theory, but I have bills to pay, and you're right, you can't just drop everything and hope for the best. But here's the key, you don't have to choose between your passion and your paycheck. You can start small, you can nurture your passion on the side, you can let it grow, let it expand, until one day it becomes the thing that sustains you. Because here's the truth, when you do what you love, you become magnetic. People are drawn to your energy, to your authenticity. And the more you align with your passion, the more opportunities will find you. Let's try something right now. Close your eyes unless you're driving, of course, and picture the thing you love most. The thing that makes you lose track of time. Maybe it's painting or gardening or teaching or building. Whatever it is, hold that image in your mind. Now, imagine doing it every day, not as a hobby, but as your life's work. How does that feel? Can you feel the excitement, the joy, the freedom? That feeling is your compass. Follow it. Because here's the thing, money is just energy. It's a tool, not a destination. When you align with your passion, you're not just chasing money, you're inviting it. You're creating a flow where abundance comes to you naturally and effortlessly. I want to leave you with this thought. The world doesn't need more people chasing paychecks. It needs more people coming alive, more people following their joy, their purpose, their passion. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep chasing, or are you going to listen to the pull of your heart? Because the moment you choose alignment, you'll see that abundance was never outside of you, it was waiting inside you all along. Dare to believe that your dreams are not just possible, but inevitable. Feel those words sink in for a moment. Not just possible, inevitable, there's a world of difference between the two. Possibility says maybe. Inevitability says this is happening. The moment you say yes to your passion, the universe starts saying yes to you. It's as though every force, every energy around you aligns to meet your determination. But let me ask you this, have you dared to truly believe that? So many of us tiptoe through life hoping things will work out. We dip our toes into the water of our dreams but never dive in. Why? Fear. Fear of failing. Fear of judgment. Fear that we're not enough. But here's the truth, the universe isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to say yes. Let me tell you a secret, the energy of the universe responds to the energy of your belief. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how things seem to fall into place when you're truly committed to something? It's not a coincidence. When you really decide that your dream is inevitable, you shift your energy. You stop looking for reasons it won't work and start seeing all the ways it can. Imagine this, you're standing at the edge of a vast forest. On the other side is everything you've ever dreamed of. But you can't see the path, it's hidden by trees and shadows. Most people stand there paralyzed, waiting for the whole road to magically appear. But life doesn't work like that. You take one step and then another. And as you move forward, the path reveals itself. Here's the catch, you have to start walking. Think about the word believe. To believe in something isn't just to hope for it, it's to embody it, to act as though it's already real. Belief isn't passive, it's active. It's stepping into the person you need to be to live the life you want. Take a moment to ask yourself this, what would you do differently if you truly believed your dreams were inevitable? Would you still hesitate? Would you still doubt yourself, or would you move forward with confidence, knowing that every step, every choice is guiding you toward your destiny? Here's a story I want you to hear. There was a man who dreamed of writing a book. For years, he told himself, someday when I have the time, I'll do it, but someday kept slipping further away. One day, he made a choice. He stopped waiting for the perfect moment and simply started. He wrote every morning before work, just 20 minutes a day. It wasn't easy. He doubted himself. He felt like giving up. But he kept going because he believed in his dream. A year later, that book was finished. Not just finished, published. And today, it's touched lives around the world. Now, let me ask you this, what's the book inside you? Maybe it's not a literal book, it could be a business, a project, a mission, whatever it is. Are you waiting for the perfect moment, or are you ready to start now? Here's a truth, to hold on to saying yes to your passion doesn't mean you'll never face challenges. It means you're willing to face them because your dream is worth it. Picture a seed planted in the soil. At first it's hidden, buried in darkness. But deep inside, it knows it's meant to grow. It doesn't sit there doubting itself. It doesn't wonder, what if I fail? It just grows. One tiny sprout at a time, it pushes through the dirt toward the light. You are that seed. Your dream is that light. But here's the thing, the seed doesn't wait for the perfect conditions to start growing. It begins where it is with what it has. And so can you. You might be thinking, but what if I don't know how to make my dream happen? That's okay. You don't have to know every step right now. When you say yes to your passion, the universe begins to guide you. People, opportunities, ideas, they start showing up in ways you couldn't have planned. But it all starts with that. Yes. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving, of course. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine that you said yes to your dream today. Picture the person you become, the life you're living. Feel the joy, the pride, the freedom of knowing you followed your heart. Now, imagine yourself a year from now if you don't say yes, if you let fear win. If you stay where you are, feel the weight of that regret. Which future do you choose? Here's an exercise for you. Write down one thing you can do today, just one small step toward your passion. Maybe it's making a phone call, signing up for a class, or spending 10 minutes working on that idea you've been putting off. And as you take that step, remind yourself this isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Because the moment you say yes to your passion, the universe starts saying yes to you. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a signal to the universe that you're ready. Your dreams aren't random. They're not selfish, they're not impossible. They're whispers from something greater, calling you toward the life you're meant to live. So dare to believe. Dare to take that first step. The universe is waiting for your yes. Your career isn't something you find, it's something you create. Let that sink in for a moment. So many of us spend years searching as if the perfect career is out there, hidden under a rock, waiting to be uncovered. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. Your career doesn't exist yet. It's something you build from the inside out. And the raw materials, they're already within you. Think about this, your career isn't about titles, positions, or paychecks. Those are just byproducts. The real essence of your career is the energy you bring to it. It's your values, your gifts, and that fire that's uniquely yours. And here's the thing, nobody else can bring it but you. Let me ask you something, how often do we look outside ourselves for answers that can only be found within? How many times have you thought, if I could just find the right job, everything would fall into place, but let me flip that idea for you. It's not the job that creates the fulfillment, it's the passion, purpose, and energy you pour into it. Take a moment to imagine this, you're an artist standing before a blank canvas. That's your career. You've got the brush, you've got the colors, and you've got the vision, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are you going to start painting, or are you waiting for someone else to hand you a masterpiece? Here's the secret, no one's going to create your career for you. And that's not a bad thing. It means you're free to shape it however you want. It means you're not confined to the expectations of others or the limitations of a job description. Too often we limit ourselves because we think we need to follow a specific path, one that's been laid out by society, by our parents, or by our own fears. But let me tell you, the most successful, fulfilled people didn't follow a path. They made their own. Look at someone like Oprah Winfrey. She didn't find her career, she created it. She created it, she took her love for storytelling, her passion for connection, and her unwavering belief in the power of transformation, and she built an empire. Not because someone handed her a perfect opportunity, but because she aligned her work with who she was at her core. So how do you do that? How do you create a career that feels aligned, fulfilling, and uniquely yours? It starts with three things: your values, your gifts, and your fire. First, your values. What do you stand for? What's non-negotiable for you? Maybe it's creativity, freedom, service, or growth. Your values are like a compass. They guide you toward work that feels meaningful. If you're not clear on your values, you'll end up chasing someone else's dream. Next, your gifts. What are you naturally good at? What comes easily to you? Sometimes we overlook our gifts because they feel too obvious. But what's obvious to you might be extraordinary to someone else. Finally, your fire. This is the spark, the energy, the thing that lights you up. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning, what makes you lose track of time. Your fire is what turns your gifts into something powerful. Here's a practical way to start. Write down 3 things you value, 3 gifts you have, and 3 things that ignite your fire. Then ask yourself, how can I combine these in a way that serves others? Because that's the magic formula, aligning who you are with how you serve. And let's be clear, creating your career doesn't mean it's all smooth sailing. There will be doubts. There will be moments when you wonder if you're on the right track. But those moments are part of the process. They're not a sign to stop. They're a sign to dig deeper. Let me share a story. There was a man named Sam who loved music. He wasn't a professional musician, but he had a gift for teaching. He also deeply valued connection and community. For years, he worked a corporate job thinking his passion for music was just a hobby. One day, he decided to take a leap. He started teaching music to kids in his neighborhood, not for the money, but because it lit him up. Word spread, and soon he was running a full-fledged music school. His career didn't come from a job posting or a recruiter. It came from aligning his values, his gifts, and his fire. Here's a thought to keep in mind. You are not a product of your job. Your job is a product of you. It's a reflection of what you bring to the table. And if you're feeling stuck, it's not because you're lost, it's because you're looking in the wrong place. Stop searching outside yourself for the perfect opportunity. Instead, start asking, what do I have to give? What do I care about deeply? What do I want to create? And don't worry if the answers aren't clear right away. Clarity comes from action, not from overthinking. Take one small step toward what feels right, and the path will reveal itself. Here's an exercise for you. Imagine your ideal workday. Not just the tasks, but the energy, the environment, the people you're surrounded by. How does it feel? That vision is a blueprint for the career you're meant to create. Now ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to move closer to that vision? Maybe it's reaching out to a mentor, starting a side project, or simply giving yourself permission to dream. Remember, your career is a living, breathing thing. It grows as you grow. And the more you align it with your authentic self, the more fulfilling it becomes. Think of your career as a garden. The seeds are your values, your gifts, and your fire. The soil is your willingness to show up day after day, even when it's hard. And the water, that's your belief in yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You just have to start planting the seeds. Because when you create your career from the inside out, it becomes more than just a way to make a living. It becomes a way to make a life. So what are you waiting for? Pick up the brush, start painting, and create something only you can bring to the world. Success isn't out there, it's in here. Let that sink in for a moment. It's not some faraway goal waiting for you to reach it. It's not a title, a paycheck, or the approval of the world. Success starts within you, your thoughts, your beliefs, the energy you carry. Align your inner world with your outer actions and watch how your life begins to transform. Think about it. How often do we chase things outside ourselves? We think, if I just had this job, this house, this opportunity, then I'd be successful. But here's the truth. You don't create success by running after it. You create it by becoming it. The outer world is just a reflection of your inner state. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, and negativity, how can you expect your life to flow with abundance and joy? You can't build a dream on shaky ground. You've got to start by strengthening the foundation yourself. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and truly believed in the person staring back at you? I'm not talking about confidence that comes from external achievements. I'm talking about an unshakable knowing that you are enough just as you are right now. Here's the thing, so many of us have it backward. We think success will make us feel worthy, but it's the other way around. Feeling worthy is what opens the doors to success. Take a moment, breathe that in. You are already enough. I want to share a story. A man once came to me and said, I've been working so hard chasing my goals, but I feel stuck. It's like no matter what I do, nothing changes. So I asked him, what's your relationship with yourself? When you think about your dreams, do you truly believe they're possible for you? He paused. He hadn't thought about it like that. He was so focused on the doing, working harder, running faster, that he hadn't considered the being. The truth was, deep down, he didn't believe he was worthy of success. And that belief, it was shaping his reality. Now, let's bring this back to you. Are there places in your life where you're working harder instead of aligning yourself first? Are you hustling, pushing, striving, but still feeling like something's missing? Success doesn't come from force. It comes from alignment. When your inner world is calm, focused, and filled with belief, your outer world starts to mirror that. The opportunities come. The connections happen. The path unfolds. Think of it like a radio signal. If you're tuned to static, you're not going to hear the music no matter how much you turn up the volume. You have to get clear on the frequency first. And the frequency of success? It's gratitude, belief, and a sense of worthiness. Here's a quick exercise. Close your eyes again, not if you're driving, but close your eyes in your mind. Picture the life of your dreams. See it in vivid detail. Feel the joy, the freedom, the abundance. Now ask yourself, who do I need to be to live this life? Not what you need to do, who do you need to be? Because here's the truth, success isn't something you achieve, it's something you embody. I know some of you are thinking, that sounds nice, but how do I actually do it? Here's how. Start small. Start with your thoughts. Notice the stories you tell yourself. Are they empowering or are they filled with doubt? If you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, shift it. Replace it with, I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough. At first, it might feel awkward, but over time, those new thoughts will become your default. And when your mind shifts, your actions will follow. Here's another truth for you: energy flows where attention goes. If you're constantly focused on what you lack, you'll attract more lack. But if you focus on what you already have, the skills, the passions, the blessings, you'll start to see more of it in your life. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice, it's a powerful tool for aligning your energy with abundance. Try this every morning before you dive into your day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Then, write down one small action you can take that aligns with the life you want to create. It doesn't have to be big. Small, consistent steps lead to massive change. Let me tell you something I've learned: the universe responds to clarity. When you're clear about what you want and who you are, things start to happen. But clarity begins within. It begins with aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Think of it like planting a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, what do you think will grow? But if you plant seeds of belief, courage, and love, your life will bloom in ways you can't even imagine. Here's one last thought. Success isn't a destination. It's not a place you arrive at. It's a way of living. It's waking up each day and choosing to align your inner world with your dreams. It's believing in yourself even when the outer world hasn't caught up yet. Success isn't out there, it's in here. It always has been. Thanks for joining me today. If you found value in this discussion, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more motivational content. Share your thoughts in the comments below.